is CTV News.
Good evening. I'm Sanjay Maru. Thanks for joining us. Canada's restaurant industry is under stress, and with inflation and rising food prices, more diners, pubs, and eateries are closing their doors. Despite the sector rebounding after the pandemic, thousands are still expected to go out of business as more consumers rein in their spending. CTV's Pat Foran leads us off tonight.
Yeah, it looks better if you do.
When it comes to spending money in restaurants, more people say they're trying to watch their finances and eat at home.
Definitely, yeah. We have been watching how much we're spending on eating out at restaurants.
I will try to go to fewer restaurants this year, I think, just given the prices.
Prices has gone up a lot.
In the last couple of years, it's been extremely difficult for restaurants in general.
According to a study from Dalhousie University, last year in Canada, 7,000 restaurants closed and went out of business. The university is now projecting another 4,000 restaurants will shut their doors this year. Sylvain Charlebois says consumers are becoming more frugal with their food budgets.
If they do dine out, they'll dine in at home, order in, or get food delivered to avoid the tips, to avoid the expensive bottle of wine and things like that.
Along with rising food prices and inflation, Restaurants Canada also blames increasing costs for rent, insurance, and wages. The group says 41% of restaurants are operating at a loss or barely breaking even, but they're trying to keep their prices low because they know customers are watching their budgets.
There's an affordability challenge for Canadians right now. There's less discretionary spending. So less discretionary spending means pulling back on restaurant spending.
Last year, when there was a 2-month tax break on restaurant meals, prepared foods, snacks, and some alcoholic beverages, restaurants saw an increase in sales of 10%. Restaurant Canada says the tax break should be brought back and made permanent.
Let's remove GST off of food. Why are we taxing food? We just think that is a poor public policy.
Charlebois agrees.
I would say we need to eliminate all taxes on food, no matter where it's consumed.
Another reason restaurant sales are down is Canadians are drinking less, and alcohol sales are a profitable category for the hospitality industry. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Turning now to a busy day in Windsor's Superior Court with major developments on 2 cases, starting with a mid-trial plea by a Cotta man accused of dangerous and impaired driving. On October 16, 2023, Cameron Drouillard attended a party in Kingsville and consumed alcohol. He and a female acquaintance left the party and drove towards Lakeshore. Drouillard is now admitting he lost control of his pickup truck on Finn Road, where it rolled several times. His friend was not wearing a seatbelt, and she was ejected from the truck, suffering serious injuries to her back. Court learning Thursday, Drouillard lied to first responders, police, and hospital staff, telling them the victim was driving when she wasn't. In an emotional victim impact statement read Thursday, the woman said the lack of accountability and gossip in their small town made her recovery and trauma worse, and she continues to struggle. The woman was set to testify Thursday, but Drouillard chose to plead guilty instead. Meanwhile, 2 people are now behind bars for a daytime shooting in Windsor. 28-year-old Kyle Small was sentenced Thursday to 6.5 years in prison. He has admitted to shooting the victim, a man unknown to him, on August 15, 2023, in the area of Peary and Erie. A second shooter, John Manigan, has already pleaded guilty, and he was sentenced to 8 years in prison. Both men shot the victim 9 times, including 5 times to the chest and 2 in the back, but he survived. The reason for the shooting was an elaborate story about convincing an ex-boyfriend to leave a mutual female friend alone following a messy breakup. Well, a whiskey war is brewing between provinces, with Ontario Premier Doug Ford's decision to pull Crown Royal from LCBO shelves raising alarms in Manitoba, where dozens of jobs at the Gimli Crown Royal plant could be caught in the crossfire. CTV's Chris Campbell brings us the details of what critics are calling a political fight with real economic consequences.
Ontario's decision to remove Crown Royal from LCBO shelves is making waves well beyond Queen's Park.
They know it's going down to Alabama. So whatever we're producing here in Ontario, they aren't going to make up the difference in Manitoba or Quebec. So I got to protect Ontario.
Premier Doug Ford's decision to clear the shelves comes after Diageo announced it would shut down Amherstburg's bottling plant, putting about 200 workers out of a job and moving operations stateside. The whiskey itself is made in Gimli, Manitoba, where 76 workers now worry about their future.
Decisions like this by Premier Ford I would say it's jeopardizing livelihoods in the Interlake.
In Amherstburg, the union has a different view.
We can't have Canadians get kicked in the head time and time again and just sit on our hands.
John Dagnolo, president of Local 200, says his frustration is directed at the company, not workers in Manitoba, and warns it could happen there too.
I think the Premier's right in what he's doing, because the big picture is not just talking about Diageo here. We're talking about all kinds of industries.
The United Food and Commercial Workers Union, which represents workers at the Manitoba distillery, warns the move could have broader consequences, saying in a statement they stand in solidarity with Amherstburg. However, Doug Ford's plan to pull Crown Royal from the shelves only attacks more Canadian workers during a time when we need to stand together as a country.
Ford's intentions are not only dangerous for the province, but it's also quite dangerous for the rest of Canada as well.
Food professor Sylvain Charlebois says sanctioning a product through government channels could create unintended consequences, including more trade disruptions and potentially hurt both workers and consumers in the long run.
What is unfolding right now is a path towards more closures from other companies eventually. So, I mean, or you're basically reducing any chances of seeing Diageo or other companies investing in Ontario and the rest of Canada.
Amherstburg Deputy Mayor Chris Gibbs says he remains hopeful a new company will soon move in.
I will leave the interprovincial relations to the proper office with the Premier, but from my perspective here in Amherstburg is we are willing, able and ready to do what it takes to bring that plant back to life.
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Victims' families gathered today to mark the 6-year anniversary of the downing of a Ukraine International Airlines flight over Iran. The Association of Families of Flight PS752 victims hosting ceremonies today in Windsor, Toronto, and Vancouver. The plane was shot down by 2 Iranian missiles minutes after taking off from Tehran on January 8, 2020. All 176 people on board, including 4 University of Windsor students, were killed. Canada has vowed to hold the Iranian regime accountable for violations of international law. The emergency department wait time clock on the Windsor Regional website is currently offline as the hospital warns patients to expect longer than normal waits during a seasonal surge.
Unfortunately, there were some technical issues with it, and it wasn't consistently showing accurate data. So we had pulled that down until we could get it corrected.
The hospital says the wait time clock went offline last week around New Year's Eve after technical issues led to inaccurate data. Officials add there is no timeline so far as to when the clock will be restored. In the meantime, officials say a spike in respiratory illnesses and holiday pressures is driving up emergency department volumes, reducing available space and pushing wait times higher for non-urgent cases.
It, depends on the time of day you're coming in, how many patients are in the waiting room, the day of the week, how many doctors are working. But definitely you're unlikely to be able to be coming into the emergency department and out in, 4 hours or less. You're definitely going to have a much longer wait time than that for a non-emergent issue.
Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkins and City Council are deciding whether or not they should step in and buy the former Windsor Stadium property. The Public School Board announcing yesterday it is selling the 4.55-acre site on McDougall Street. As CTV's Bob Belichico shows us, the landmark location could soon be up for redevelopment.
All options can and should be considered with respect to this parcel.
The for sale sign is up. Windsor Stadium is on the market. The property doesn't have a set price tag, but it will be sold for fair market value. One thing's for sure, the City of Windsor is definitely interested. The property is located right next to the bandshell, a big historic part of Jackson Park. Mayor Drew Dilkens says the city has been expressing a desire to buy Windsor Stadium for over a decade.
We'll get a chance to consider putting a bid in, and we certainly look forward to bringing that option to City Council for their consideration.
According to Dilkens, the city approved submitting an expression of interest last year on the 4.5-acre property based on the province's desire for bids with a priority for housing. The province changed course and decided instead to direct the school board to sell. Dilkens says there is money available in the city reserves to submit a bid.
We see great opportunities in terms of recreation and adding Windsor Stadium to the broader piece of Jackson Park. And council may say, you know, we still think housing is an important option, and this may be a good opportunity to consider housing at Windsor Stadium.
City Councillor Kieran McKenzie hopes there is a consensus around the council table to put an offer in.
I think about the opportunities related to the band shell and development of that space, as well as other programs. And for example, Bright Lights would have the opportunity to expand if we were able to incorporate the Windsor Stadium property into Jackson Park.
So theater, music events. It definitely can interact with the stadium if that opens up.
Crystal Waddell, an architectural and urban designer, says it would be a wasted opportunity if the land was bought and not developed, or purchased privately and then cut off from the park.
There's so many possibilities to make something interactive with the park, with the band shell, in that public space. And could it be public-private? Sure.
The deadline to submit an offer is February 6th at the Public Board office. Bob Belichico, CTV News.
And as we've reported, Windsor's mayor tabling the 2026 budget that holds the line on taxes. But what is the true cost of a 0% tax levy? On Monday, City Council will consider proposed increases in fees that would impact a wide range of services.
45%, 88%, 28%, 22%, 64%.
City Councilor Fred Francis has reviewed 12 budgets during his time in council. He says increases in service fees usually rise around the inflation rate, which in November of 2025 was 2.2%. In this budget, transit fees, public licensing fees, recreational swims, and some sports fields are all seeing increases in the double digits. Public skating and ice rink rentals will also see an increase. The president of the Windsor Minor Hockey Association says fees usually increase by 2% each year. This year, that number would increase to 8%. But Francis says out of all the line items in the proposed budget, the increase in curling fees surprised him most, particularly after the season was canceled following a fire at the WFCU Center.
I think as a good gesture of goodwill to the curlers to get them back this year would be to hold those rates at status quo from the previous year, because they had no curling season. So to have no curling season, to put them out and they're not accommodated and come back with increased rates is not good business.
Still ahead, new research finds that when people stop taking GLP-1 weight loss drugs, they put weight back on 4 times faster than those ending more traditional diet and exercise regimes. And CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me now for a look at the forecast. Gary, last time I was up here at the hosting desk, we talked a lot about how I hate the snow and the cold, so I am quite excited for the forecast tomorrow.
Well, for those who love the cold and the snow, this warm-up, which you allude to, Sanjay, won't last a very long period of time. In fact, we're looking at a huge surge tomorrow, and then Saturday, a huge cool down and cooler still for Sunday. More on that in just a moment. Today was indicative of this mild southerly flow, very warm air mass well above seasonal. Didn't hit a record today. We were off that mark by 4 degrees, but we did reach 11.1 degrees Celsius. Our average high is closer to -1. And we were not below the freezing mark all day and won't be. So that's significant given the time of year. Now look at this massive system. It's bringing rain showers. We've already gotten into a taste of that this late evening. More of the same through the overnight, and there's potential of thunderstorm activity between, say, now and 3-4 a.m. The pathway right through the heart of southern Ontario from southwest to northeast. That's a southwesterly flow from where it emanates. And with the temperatures surging, the sustained warmth over the next 24 hours means we'll be in the double digits yet again. and we might see 13 to about 15 degrees Celsius for a daytime high. That, if we reach 13, would be in record-setting territory. And then Saturday, Sunday, we'll see a cool down and showers turning to wet flakes and maybe even some freezing rain. It's that drastic a temperature drop in the next, say, 48 to 72 hours. The rainfall is significant. Already a taste of it now, as mentioned, right through the heart of the overnight into tomorrow morning. I think it starts to ease up, say around 7, 8, 9 a.m. between Windsor, Essex, Chatham, Kent. It's got to travel that distance. And then we'll get into maybe even some sunshine. Partly cloudy conditions for the afternoon when we see the high of about 13 at least at around 3 o'clock. Friday. Overnight temperatures are well above seasonal. Normally we'd be at -8. We are looking at 6 degrees, +6. Showers and possible thunderstorm activity between midnight and dawn tomorrow. And tomorrow is windy as well, so we know it's going to rain in the morning, but those winds could be sustained in the 30s, gusting to 50, maybe 55. And they'll switch direction after tomorrow's balmy day. We are cooler, so the winds now come out of the north or northwest. We're down to 3 degrees with light rain showers Saturday. A mix of rain, freezing rain, ice pellets, and maybe even wet flakes on Sunday. Look at the high, -1. That's a huge departure from what we're likely to see tomorrow. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, cloudy for that 4-day stretch with an average daytime high of about +1, +1.5. That would be seasonal for this time of the year. Let's look at your weather. Sanjay?
And I, for one, am happy to take the rain and the warm over the snow and cold. Now, as Gary just mentioned, Friday could be a record-setting day. Environment Canada says the record for January 9th is 13.3 degrees Celsius. That was set back in 1880. The prediction for 2026, the temperature on Friday could reach 13 degrees or higher. And get this, typically the daily high in Windsor is -1.
So we have this amplified jet stream, so it means it's really wavy, and the jet stream is to the north of us, which means we're in the warm, mild air, and we're seeing these temperatures that are really above seasonal for this time of year.
The City of Windsor says it is in dire need of more crossing guards. The city is putting out a call for anyone interested in being the school crossing guard for elementary school children walking to and from school. The city says not all the corners are covered every day, especially in the central area, South Windsor, and the East End. 15 more people are needed to meet the city's needs. A crossing guard would work 2 30-minute shifts per day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. The job pays $23 an hour. A police and medical clearance are required. Well, it has been 150 days since workers at Titan Tool and Die were locked out when contract talks with the company failed. The union represents 27 active members with 33 others on layoff. In October, the workers rejected 15 pages of concessions from the company, which included a wage freeze, elimination of retiree benefits, rollback of benefits, and mandatory overtime. Since then, the president of Unifor Local 195 says the union and company have had few scheduled talks and remain at a stalemate. He says they could go to the Ontario Labour Relations Board with claims of bargaining in bad faith, but he feels that may not be enough to get the company back to the table. With an assist by gains in the energy sector, the TSX gaining more than 240 points on Wall Street, the Dow rising 270, the Nasdaq falling more than 100, the loonie slipping a little over 1/5 of a cent. Gold is down $1.80 while oil jumps $1.77 a barrel. You may have noticed new labels on items at the grocery store indicating whether items are high in things like sugar, saturated fats, and sodium. The labels are the result of new Health Canada regulations. However, there are exemptions to the new regulations. Things like fresh fruits and vegetables, as well as fresh meat and poultry, do not require the labels. A discussion this week about how the city handles safety at festivals and special events was moved behind closed doors. The report stems from a formal question raised at City Council last spring after a deadly street festival attack in Vancouver. It outlines how about 500 third-party events in Windsor are reviewed by police, fire, EMS, and multiple city departments each year. The report also noting that safety requirements can increase costs for event organizers, and the city is reviewing ways to streamline the process. During Wednesday's Community Services Standing Committee meeting, members voted to answer all questions regarding specific safety measures behind closed doors.
My only concern is that some of the questions I wanted to ask of administration, I feel, are more in-camera items. Asking questions in regards to public safety measures and stuff for special events is, to me, certainly not something that I want to, speak about in the public eye.
We're learning more about the side effects of weight loss drugs that target cravings and reduce the appetite. Now comes word that discontinuing the medication within a year can come with complications. CTV's Adrian Gobriel now on the risk you should be aware of if you decide to take the drug.
Discover the power of Wegovy.
Slick commercials promise long-lasting results.
And I'm keeping the weight off.
Though a new study suggests that might not be the case for those who decide to stop using a semaglutide medication. This British Medical Journal review found that cessation of weight management medications is followed by rapid weight regain and reversal of beneficial effects.
All of the improvements that they have in their blood pressure, their blood lipids, their blood glucose also go back to baseline.
The findings reinforce the fact that semaglutide is supposed to be a lifelong medication, not a quick fix weight loss drug.
GLP-1 analogs are for people who have disease, heart disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, or pre-diabetes. You're at high risk of medical conditions. That's who it's for.
The study found that those who stopped exercising or ended a more conventional diet regained weight at a slower rate.
They regain all of their weight within about 4 years, whereas they regain all of their weight after they stop the drug within about a year and a half.
This comes as the waistlines of Canadians are expanding at a record pace. This recently released StatsCan report found that 68% of Canadians aged 18 to 70 were classified as obese due to their body mass index known as BMI. An internal medicine specialist says semaglutide is a life-changing drug for those who really need it.
What we don't want to do is demonize a whole class of medications. This world of just anyone using it, these GLP-1s at any time, that's problematic.
This comes as the patent for the drug has expired here in Canada. Generic versions could hit the shelves in the months ahead, making it cheaper and more accessible. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
We all know Canadians love hockey, but for one Chatham couple, the game has become part of their love story and their wedding day. Last spring, Sheldon Cadott popped the question to Daylene Trudell, center ice during a Spitfires game. Tonight, they came full circle, returning to the WFCU Center, this time to say, "I do." Not every day a wedding comes with a scoreboard, a crowd, and a Zamboni waiting in the wings. Sheldon and Daylene were approached months after their on-ice proposal with a simple question: why not make it official right here? Tonight, they did just that, tying the knot between the second and third periods. The couple grew up around the game and say they've been to about 8 or 9 Spitfires games during their 8 years together, but none surely quite like this one. The entire ceremony, plus a suite for family and friends, was part of the night. And for anyone who could not fit in the suite, no problem. They just bought a ticket and took a seat for the big moment. As for getting married in front of thousands of fans, the couple says the crowd was just background noise.
It's really nice to know that in one way or form we'll go down in history for doing something like this. So in either way, once we get this done, half these people, we won't see them again. So just be our friends and family that we brought, we'll see them again and they can nag us for it. So we can manage that.
And as excited as Spitfires fans were over that on-ice wedding, they also bared witness to a dominant, and I mean a dominant, victory for the home team.
Trying to get it over to Nesbitt. Belchez waits. What a shot! Ethan Belchez makes it 2.
That goal putting the Spits up 2-1, and from there was no looking back. The Spits responding to a power play goal early from the Erie Otters with 9. That's right, 9 straight unanswered goals. The Spits now riding a 6-game win streak and currently sitting at 3rd in the Western Conference. Final score tonight, 9-1. The Spits return to the ice Saturday as they visit the Spirit in Saginaw. And Gary is back with a final look at weather. Gary.
Sanjay, 3 points to leave you with tonight. For tomorrow, the next 24 hours continues to be warm and above seasonal. That's point 1. The second, it's rainy to start. And the third, it's windy. Quite windy, in fact, throughout much of the morning through the middle of the afternoon. We'll see winds gusting to about 50, 55 plus, possibly in some areas. But look at that temperature, 13 plus, might even see 15. Then the colder air mass with a switch in the wind profile drawing down, if you will, cooler air from the northwest. Drops temperatures drastically for Saturday into Sunday. We'll go from 13 down to 3 to -1, all within the next, say, 72 hours. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm anticipating a cloudy week next week with temperatures cooler and more seasonal, with daytime highs around the freezing mark, if not slightly above, a couple of degrees below, and the lows in the minuses where they would normally be for this time of the year.
Some of the best bowlers in Canada are in Windsor looking for a chance to prove they belong among the country's elite. The Canadian Team Trials is in Windsor. For the first time in about 20 years, 106 bowlers are looking to earn a spot on the men's, women's, youth, female, and male teams. The Canadian 10-Pin Federation is especially excited because of the influx of youth bowlers in the tournament.
The kids that get to make the team this time around, they go to the World Championship in Malaysia this year, so it's a big year. For the adult team, they're gearing up because we're in a Pan Am Games cycle. It's very important to the adult team to be in the top so they get a chance for selection.
And finally tonight, a Bell River woman is $1 million richer. Tricia Malone turning in the winning ticket from the Lotto 649 Gold Ball draw on November 1st. The ticket was purchased at Joe's Variety on Notre Dame Street in Bell River. Congratulations to you, Tricia. That is your news for tonight. Thank you so much for watching this edition of Windsor's News Leader. We'll see you right back here tomorrow at 6 and 11.